إذا أنعمنا على الإنسان أعرض ونأى بجانبه وإذا مسه الشر كان يئوسا قل كل يعمل على شاكلته فربكم أعلم بمن هو أهدى سبيلا ويسألونك عن الروح قل الروح من أمر ربي وما أوتيتم من العلم إلا قليلا رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي فالحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. I'm going to take a break from our series on the Durus on Ali Imran, and I want to share some different places in the Quran, just some reflections with you. And today I've decided to share some lessons with you from Surat Al Isra. This is surah number 17. And the ayat that I want to talk to you about today, centrally is ayah number 84, but some things about ayah number 83 and 85 also. Surat Al Isra is a very different Meccan surah of the Quran. It's got 111 ayat. And it has some of the very difficult ayat in Meccan tafsir. Some very difficult ayat of the Quran belong to Surat Al Isra. And some things that are mentioned in Surat Al Isra are not mentioned anywhere else. So you have, for example, in Meccan Quran, lots of repetition. Things that are mentioned in different places occur again in different surahs in Meccan Quran. But Surat Al Isra describes some realities. For example, the way that Allah talks about the ruh, as you may have heard the Arabic word as I was reciting the ayah, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي وَمَا أُوتِيتُ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. That's only here. There's nowhere else that even that question has been discussed. Right? So it has a unique place also among the series of Meccan surahs within which it is found. What I want to start with you today with is, instead of getting into the meanings of the ayat, first and foremost is just some concepts that I want you to visualize, and that'll help help us appreciate the lessons here a little bit better. When somebody's traveling, just imagine yourself or myself or anybody traveling, then their goal, if you ask them, what is your goal as a traveler? Well, your goal as a traveler is to reach your destination. It's pretty simple, right? So anybody who's ever engaged in any travel, their arriving at their destination is their ultimate goal, right? So the closer they get to their goal, the more progress they're making. And the moment they've reached their goal, they've attained success, right? Now that's an important visualization, because when you are, your goal was not to take a step. Your goal was not to finish 1 mile or 2 miles or 3 miles. Your goal was to get to the destination. Now let's say your destination was 10 miles away and you only traveled 4 miles and you couldn't go any further. Then you failed because you didn't reach 10 miles. That's what your goal was. And if you only took 2 steps or 3 steps, you still failed. And if you made it all the way to 9.99 miles and you only had 2 steps left and you couldn't make it, you still failed because you did not make it to your destination. This is important because when somebody asks for directions, now I'll use Islamic terms that you're more familiar with. Instead of saying directions, I'll say when somebody asks for guidance. Right, that's why we call it, GPS, right? So when somebody asks for guidance, then they're obviously asking, this is where I want to go, this restaurant, this airport, this hotel, this masjid, whatever. Can you give me guidance on how to go there? Right, that's what they're asking for. And so we never ask guidance to get to the road, we always ask guidance to get to the destination. Like, somebody says, hey, could you guide me to get to this road? Where do you want to go on that road? What's your destination? Because nobody's destination is the road itself. You understand? That wouldn't make sense. But now take a step back and think about the Fatiha. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal, Ihdina as-Sirat al-Mustaqim. Guide us to what? The road. But in life, we never ask for guidance to the road. We ask for guidance to the destination. And Allah will explain Himself in the Quran, like in Surah An-Najm, وَأَنَّ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ الْمُنْتَهَى. That the final destination, the end, is your Rabb Himself. That's the destination. But we don't ask Allah to guide us to Him, we ask Allah to guide us to the road itself. This is very important to understand. And if somebody understands that, the way they look at the Quran and the way they look at their life, the way they understand Allah's expectations changes completely. Because someone who's saying, my goal is to be on a road, is very different than someone who says, my goal is to get to a building or to get to a destination. They're two different things. If the only goal you have in life is to be on a road and stay on a road, then when is the only time you're done? When's the only time you're finished? When you die. And your goal is not to reach someplace, your goal is to actually die on this road. That's your goal. Your goal was not to get to a destination. Isn't that profoundly different? Now if that's your goal, then you're no longer concerned about, you know how we say when you're traveling, one time I traveled from here with my kids to Colorado, pretty long drive, 700 some miles. And they keep asking, how many hours left? How many miles did we travel so far? How many more miles left? And you keep checking the marker. Okay, this many left, this many hundred left, this many hundred left. Oh, we did 10 more, we did 20 more, we did 30 more. You understand? So you keep checking how much progress have I made. Oh my God, I came so far. And I have only a little bit more to go. Because if you have a stationary destination, then every step you take, you've made progress, and you're getting closer and closer to your goal. But if your goal was the road itself, do you look back in front? No. No, that's no longer a concern. You're no longer worried, hey, when can I get to this goal? When can I get to that goal? When can I get to this mile marker, this milestone? Maybe now I'm 75% done. Now I'm 80%. Nope, you're not concerned anymore. You don't even look back and say, man, I made a lot of progress. That's no longer your concern. Because it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters for a person whose goal was to be on the road is that when the last moment comes of their life, and we don't know when that is, that they were still on the road. That's the only thing that matters. Nothing else matters. Now this changes our perspective on guidance altogether. No matter what you and I may have done in the past, that's good. No matter what we did, that's good. Today, does any of that matter? No. Some matters today is today, am I on the road or not? And no matter what mistakes you made in the past, you were off the road, you were off some cliff somewhere, wherever you were. So long as you're on the road today, that is all that matters. Tomorrow doesn't matter because it's out of your control. Yesterday doesn't matter because it's too late. All that matters is that you're on the road right now. Isn't that profoundly different? It's incredible that Allah Azza wa Jalla, and by the way, if somebody fell behind, sometimes people are on the right path and then they stop. Sometimes people are on the right path and they take a little turn. Sometimes people are on the right path, they start going backwards. It happens. And if you were walking with your brother, and one of them got tired, and they stopped, and you kept going. Now it seems that you are much further away, and he's still further behind. And one day he decides to get on the road again. Should he compare himself to you anymore? And say, man, he's so far ahead, how am I ever going to catch up? He's doing so much better than I am, and I'm all the way back here. None of that matters. Because there's no comparison of where you are, how far you got. All that matters is that you're on it. Some people that are traveling on this road are traveling very fast. Imagine a highway, some people are driving like beyond the speed limit. Some people are riding a bicycle. Some people are walking. Are they all traveling at the same speed? No. There are some people that are traveling in a bus, so there's lots of people together traveling. So their journey is easier. They help each other. One gets tired, the other takes the wheel. Right? They're giving each other company. And when you have company, the road becomes easier. Right? And there are some people that are traveling what? All alone. And then there are some people who are traveling and the person they're traveling with, they don't even like them. They have a difficult journey because they're stuck with this person that they don't even like and they're traveling on that road. Is everybody traveling on the road traveling at the same speed, in the same way? No. No, they're not. But that doesn't matter. Two people can have the same they could be on the same exact street, the same exact road. But is their experience of traveling on that road the same? Can't you imagine that you went on a highway from one exit to another, and at the same time there are 100 other cars next to you, and somebody says, man, remember that time we were driving? That was the best day of my life. And next to you is a car that says, man, that time when I was driving, that was the worst day of my life. Possible or no? For some people, the same journey is the easiest thing ever. For the other people, it's the hardest thing ever. You understand? It's not the same. Just because the cars are traveling together, they're all headed in the same direction, it doesn't mean that the experience is the same for everybody on it. It's not the same. If we understand this image, then you will appreciate what's being said in many ayat, especially this ayah. And I want to start with the end of this ayah and then go back to the beginning of this ayah. فَرَبُّكُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنْ هُوَ أَهْدَى سَبِيلًا. Your master, your Rabb, all of you, knows better who is more guided in terms of sticking to the road. Who is more committed to the road. He knows better. First of all, by Allah saying Allah knows better. Like another place He says, إِنَّ رَبَّكَ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنْ ضَلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِهِ وَهُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنْ اهْتَدَى. He says He knows the ones that have fallen off the road, and He knows the ones that are committed to the guidance, committed to the directions that were given. He knows the difference between them. When Allah says that, إِنَّ رَبَّكَ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ, you know what that means? That means you and I are no longer in a position to say, man, that guy is on a good road, and this one's off the road. He took that away from you. He took that away from me. Because who says who knows better? إِنَّ رَبَّكَ أَعْلَمُ. In this ayah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, فَرَبُّكُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنْ هُوَ أَهْدَى. He knows. He knows better. I am no longer concerned with who is on the road and who is off the road. That's not for me to know. There's no way for me to know. You know what happens with people? When shaitan comes to them, he makes them forget this reality, and their only concern is who is on and who is off. Let me tell you who the deviants are. Let me tell you who are not on the right path. Let me tell you who have fallen away from the path. Let me make a list of you for them. I've literally gone to masajid where they update the list of deviants you should stay away from. And then they make a list of people that you should follow or listen to or benefit from, and they're still guided. They're still on the haqq. And I've literally seen, this one is crossed off, moved over to that list. He's deviant too. Last week he said something. They keep tabs on who's on the road and who's off the road. Ya Allah. Ya Rab. Allah says, that's not your license, that's not my place. That's Allah, for Allah to know. وَرَبُّكُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنْ هُوَ أَهْدَى سَبِيلًا. Then here's the other thing. In Surat Al-Fatiha, Allah Azza wa Jal told us, اهْدِنَا الصِّرَاطَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. Sirat in Arabic comes from the word surat. And surat is a wide, long sword. Because the Arabs used to make curved swords. Like if you know anything about swords, the strange sword for the Arab was the long, straight one. And that was called a surat. And from it you get the word sirat, a wide but straight road. Right? A wide but straight road. And in Arabic, words have plurals just like in any language, like kitab is kutub, masjid is masajid. Sirat has no plural. There's no surut. There's no sara'it. There's nothing. Why? Because the sirat is the kind of road that doesn't have an alternative route. Like if imagine there's only one bridge that goes from this island to this island. There's no other roads that can take you there. That would be called a sirat. Why? Because there's no other road you can take. There's only this road you can take. There is no plural available. There's no alternative available. That's Allah's way of telling us Islam is one. The deen is one. Guidance is one. There's only one road to take. So far so good? But then Allah Azza wa Jal uses other words. Like the word sabil. Like the word sabil. Now sabil is a small road. Sabil is actually a small road. And tariq is actually another, even a smaller road. So the way I want you to visualize this is, you know how you have a street, and from an inside home street, you get to a main street which has 3 or 4 lanes. And then from the main street, you get on the highway. Right? The highway is sirat. And then there's tariq that leads to sabil that goes to sirat. If you want to get on that highway, you still might have to take some local route, yes? You can't just